sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, where every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Today, today we do turn the page, do we not, on the month of December 2010. It's usually a month packed full of things for you all to do, and one of the things that I've done is arranged a pretty interesting December for you with the guests that we're going to be having here. We'll get through those in just a moment. I want you to keep coming aboard with us each and every day of our December schedule, as well as any other month of the year. With respect to today, we're bringing back a company, one that we certainly have featured here many times in the past. The company, really well known, an excellent line of products called Standard Process. In the days that we had the company featured here before, the representative was one Jim Maresic. You all got to know Jimmy very well. He was in my office many times doing cardiophonology. It was an interesting way to diagnose whether or not you needed supplementation and what type. But the fellow who jumped in his shoes, and they were big shoes to fill, will be with us today. His name is Brian Foltz. We'll get right with him right after the first break, talking today generally about this company called Standard Process, because it has been a while since we've featured the company on our show once again. So in the course of our discussion with Brian, and I have many patients of mine who believe strongly in the Standard Process product line, if you have a question or a comment to make about anything that he may say, or the company in general, or specific products in mind, I do find him to be quite knowledgeable. He has filled the Jimmy Maresic shoes very, very well. If in the course of our discussion with him today you want to call up to ask a question or to make a comment, that number, of course, as always, will be 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. Now, I hope you have enjoyed, and I really have enjoyed bringing them to you. This last string of guests that we've had have brought some very interesting concepts to the table, ones that really, it just in my opinion, I hope you agree with me, aren't sufficiently covered in a one-show, 45-minute time frame that we usually have. So I promise you, I'm going to be bringing back, well, let's talk about the first one that I think really warrants a lot of discussion, and that's Mr. Peter DeWitt. We had him on our show last Wednesday talking about something called recall healing. Now, it was an interesting concept. It was captivating to me. I hope you remember him very well. And I promised you on the air that we would bring him back. He consented graciously after we got off air. His day to come back with us is going to be this month on December 8th. In the interim, I got his book. And I will say that it makes so much more sense after looking at how he wrote his book, because you get the impression that you treat diseases by just thinking about past discretions and conflicts and stresses. And although he says that's usually the instigator of all disease, the correction, you'll be happy to hear, is a combination of dealing with the physical as well as the emotional and the spiritual. I don't think I'm going to try to steal the thunder of this gentleman. He knew his topic very well. I hope many of you took him up on the offer to get the book. Looking at it right now, let me get this thing in my hand. Heal Thyself, Transform Your Life, Transform Your Health. I will take, and there's a nice little note he scribbled on the inside of the book, but one of the most powerful statements he made was the opening statement that he made with respect to disease. I'm going to repeat it here. It's from a Dr. Sabat, who evidently he knows, and certainly knows his writings from France. But here's that powerful statement, and we'll close with it today. We were coming back to this on December 8th, but in talking about disease, Dr. Sabah stated, and Peter DeWitt mentioned to us, disease is the brain's best solution to keep the person alive as long as possible. Therefore, disease is a survival program. Now, that is a heavy statement, and I hope you enjoy hearing it again. And we use it as the battle cry and the mantra for when we return him to you on December 8th. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure you are too. Then, our last show with you, the show we did on Monday, we had a real interesting guest, did we not? Dr. Stuart Reeves was with us, and he was there, folks, and it was so nice to be able to finally get a representative from Epicor, and not only just any representative, the guy who really was there when the discoveries were made about this product that's now available countrywide, coming out of a, well, I said veterinary, but he meant the animal feed world, and has revolutionized this industry, I say. And we put meaning myself and Arlene Brecker, put the full force of our reputations behind this 3 to 4 years ago. But we kept telling you the story about Epicor and never really having it confirmed. Well, it was confirmed. Just as we said, and how it happened in the past, Stuart Reeves confirmed it because he was there, and it did have its discovery in the same way that we said it did. But the product and how it works, I believe, needs to be covered again. We did book Stuart back. He's coming back in January, talk more about the science. So that's how we got that one resolved. Now, looking at the other guests for this month. On Friday, you're going to enjoy Jim Navarro's coming back. I spoke to him yesterday. We're trying to arrange to get both Jimmy and Beth Clay on the same show. Now, you know Jim Navarro, father of Thomas Navarro, the young boy who succumbed to brain cancer way back in 2001. His saga, his story, his plight, we really paraded on our radio show in a number of opportunities back then. A movie was launched. It was released. We don't know much about it. He promises to talk about it. A bill is to be launched in Congress to try to have the Thomas Navarro Rights Act invoked, and we'll hear more about that. And that's why Beth Clay, past administrative assistant to the Republican congressman from Indiana, is now a lobbyist, and she'll be with us on the show too. We're trying to arrange for them both. So that is how we're going to round out Friday. It's going to be a little different of a Friday for us. On next Monday, we're finally going to bring, I believe, the line of products that's the corollary to Epicor as now we move into this cold and flu season, and that's this company called Old Bus. And you're going to enjoy having with you a very energetic young lady, Susan Smith-Jones, talking about the Joy Factor, a book that she has written, and including much of the Old Bus story behind it. Peter DeWitt, as I mentioned, is going to be with us on the 8th. Then on the 10th, I'm getting exhausted from my excitement too. Deborah Ray. Deborah Ray is going to be back with us, and it's been a long time since she's been with us. She's a married Deborah Ray now. We talked about it on the phone. She will discuss what we all didn't know. I fell off our chair whenever Deanna Naylor, the president of the Fruit of the Spirit company, mentioned that she was married. And she promises to talk about her husband, Ron, for a bit. All we Pittsburghers need to know, as you well know. It'll sort of be an Inquirer magazine segment on the 10th of December when we first start off with Deborah Ray. Then Brian Foltz comes back. The guest today returns, talking about a nutritional exam that he does. We'll use me as the guinea pig to describe, because he already did his little exam on me, and he came up with a whole list of ways to correct what he found wrong with me. And that's the way December is plotted out up to now. And I hope you appreciate, hope you'll be with us each and every show. Should mention having Deanna Naylor with us right at the beginning of the show on Monday, talking about this gift package, Fruit of the Spirit, where if you order now and you order this gift set, You get a bottle of the Fruit of the Spirit, which normally costs $29. Well, this whole gift set costs $29. A bottle of Fruit of the Spirit, a mixing glass, a mixture glass, however they put it. It's a shot glass, folks, but it's very ornate. The book called Harmony, written by Deborah Ray in collaboration with two physicians, and we'll speak to Deborah Ray about that book once again when she's on our show on the 10th, as well as a description of Fruit of the Spirit, a booklet on that too, all packaged very nicely. Get it for $29. You can do it one of two ways, folks. You can either, you will not find this in stores. You will not find this available any other venue in the entire Western Pennsylvania area. This is it. If you're interested in Fruit of the Spirit, if you already get it, well, you may want to get others involved too and give them as gifts for $29. You can sign them up and have them sent directly to them. They say they'll delay the delivery of this gift set closer to the time of Christmas than just blurting it out right here at the beginning. You can either go do it online at this website, Dr. Courtney, that's Dr. Courtney, DrCourtney, no dot after the R in doctor, drcourtney.fruitspirit.com. Once again, drcourtney.fruitspirit.com. $29 gets you that gift set either sent to you if you like sending gifts to yourself or other members of your family or friends. Or if you're interested in doing it by phone, don't want to do the techie thing, the number for the Spirit is oftentimes mentioned by Deborah as she does the radio spots for our show. 800-793-8714. That's 800-793-8714. And that's about it. I don't think I have anything else to tell you. I'll hold in abeyance the complete January schedule, which is filling up, and I'll bring it to you at another time. We got so much that we want to relay to you at the beginning of the show today. Before we take a break, and we're now arriving at that point in the show, we're going to take a short break. In the interim, I'll go find Brian Foltz. Now, Brian is this new representative for Standard Process, a company well known with an integrity, that pedigree line and integrity that just, bar none, is fine and excellent. And he now comes to you for the first time as a representative of the company on our show. Hope you enjoy him. We're back in a minute with Brian.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. You become confused about how best to manage your health. It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough that no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, relation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
This Christmas season, give your friends and loved ones the gift of health with a very special gift from Fruit of the Spirit. Fruit of the Spirit combines 14 whole fruits with energizing minerals to give you great tasting, antioxidant-rich liquid nutrition with more health benefits than any other product of its kind. Take advantage of a special offer this Christmas. We will send a beautiful gift pack with a bottle of Fruit of the Spirit, portion glass, book, and brochure to each name on your shopping list for just $29. That's a bottle of Fruit of the Spirit, portion glass, book, and brochure to each name on your shopping list for just $29.
Fruit of the Spirit gift pack is a $57 value. This Christmas season is yours for just $29, shipping and handling not included. Call 1-800-793-8714 with your shopping list, and Fruit of the Spirit will take care of the rest. Call now. That's 1-800-793-8714.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here on KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on a Wednesday version of the show, first day of the month of December 2010. Action-packed as it usually is for all of us that has nothing to do with the radio. This is a pretty festive month filled with a lot of activities. We've jam-packed the month of December with a lot of radio activities circled around AM Impact on Your Health. We kick it off today with, I think, an appropriate gentleman. The company, well-known, well-understood, fine line of products, a great heritage, and a story that goes behind it. Unique products to this company that are found in none others. And we thought it's time to bring it back to you again, especially because, well, a new representative of the company comes our way after having met him and found him to be completely knowledgeable on these issues. I thought it was time to bring him ahead. We had Jimmy Moresic with us so often. You all got accustomed to Jimmy. But now get accustomed to one, Brian Foltz, who's with us today, the new standard process representative, and we meet him today for the first time. Let's say good morning and welcome aboard, Jimmy. Thanks for letting us invade your morning hour at this time.
Good morning, Dr. Courtney, and thank you for having me.
You are in an interesting position. We got to know Jimmy Moresic very well. By the way, I have spoken to Jimmy since I last talked to you, and he speaks very highly of you too. I'm sure there's a mutual admiration between the two of you.
Very much so.
This company of yours is so unique that I'm glad to see that they really pick and choose the people they're going to allow to represent them with integrity in mind and knowledge and understanding of the product line and just in general the mechanisms behind how you get to successful health. I found you to be very knowledgeable, but let's just swing away from the company for a moment. Everybody needs to get to know Brian Foltz. Brian, tell us a bit about your story. You certainly don't start with standard process. Go back in time. Give us an idea of how you come to the position you're in right now and why your interest lies so strongly in promoting health.
Well, this all started off way back when. Actually, my dad passed away when I was 21, and I didn't like what the medical community did with him. And I was in my line of work, which, like so many people here in Western Pennsylvania were. I was working in a steel mill. And I ended up meeting my wife, who was a chiropractor, and we started talking, and, one thing led to another. I started attending a few seminars with her here and there, and I started kind of looking into this, kind of laying the groundwork, and started doing some, whether it was college classes or some distance learning work over the computer, working on my MD right now currently as we spoke when I met you. And I just started applying some of this in our office. I was doing it on a part-time basis for about 2 years, and then about 3.5, almost 4 years ago, I decided to quit my job, which was making me a pretty decent living and everything.
We were still making steel 3.5 years ago.
Yes, we were.
Where was that? Just for the heck of it. I thought we didn't make it anymore.
Well, we still do, because I still have some of those guys that I am in touch with, and I am up here in Sharon, PA. I was actually working at a company called Foltz.
Well, thanks for that blurb, because we're happy to hear that they're making it somewhere around here. They're just not making it right around Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right. Right. So, as we all know, we see the way the economy is going and everything else. But that's small business now, which is what my wife is, because she's the only doctor here in the office. And I was her CA, if you will, and then started doing some of this nutrition stuff as I started learning more and working with Jim, as you talked with there. He would come up and start working with me, and we would be educating. We'd start bantering back and forth, and next thing you know, I started applying all the stuff that I was learning, and I was getting results. And I was seeing this in our patients. And then next thing you know, they just referred more people in, and referred more people in, and referred more people in, and our practice just grew. And people were coming, even from the Pittsburgh area, to come see me, because I had family members around here in my area, up here in the Shenango Valley, as it's called, that were referring them, hey, you got to go see this guy. And I then was able to outsource to working with Jim. Hey, listen, there's a doctor that's close to you that we can set you up with this. It's not a problem that we don't have to ship in products. Because it's all about getting the word out there. It's about getting healthy. And when Jimmy took his promotion, I then...
He still calls it and swears by it as a promotion, right?
Yeah.
We thought it was a demotion. He calls it a promotion. He's in the hills of North Carolina, Brian. He's in Tobacco Road, and it's a promotion, huh?
It is a promotion. I know he was definitely talking about leaving the area because he has still a lot of strong ties up here. Me being one of them that we still chit-chat every once in a while. But he definitely has a chance to go down there with what's going on in North Carolina, trying to get the word out down there to the doc. Doing his thing down there. Anyway, when Jimmy got promoted, I gave my boss Ben a few months to hire somebody. I said, you know what, I'm gonna submit an application or my resume and see what happens. And lo and behold, here we are. I started June 1st as of this year, so June 1st, 2010 was my first day, and I've never looked back. I got to go up to the farm a couple times. That place is phenomenal to get to see where all this stuff comes from. It's organically grown, the process that goes into it, and how they haven't changed anything for all this time. The organic farming methods they use, how they actually will process the beef or the Spanish black radish or whatever it is that we're growing up there in the farm. And that's all of that, all the quality and pride that goes into all of this from the employee level, the groundwork level, all the way up through the take orders up there, all the way up through the staff and the management team. Even not a doctor, but the guy who owns the company, Charles LeBlanc, even he was a very, very awesome gentleman to meet. I was like, man, I felt privileged when I shook his hand. So.
By the way, the farm, you could talk about the farm, the CIA has a farm too. We got to watch this one farm because it means different things in different circles. Your farm is up in, is it Wisconsin?
Yeah, Elmira, Wisconsin.
And when you say the farm, that's where the bulk, if not the majority, of the raw food elements that come into making the product line that you offer, it comes right from your farm?
Yes. If we can't grow it because we have a short growing season in Palmyra, if we can't grow it, we will outsource it, but it still goes through a quality check when it comes in off the truck. And if it doesn't meet the quality standards, our gal up there in Indiana, she will not use the product. She will actually send it back. Say we can't grow all the carrots for a year to get the carrot roots and so forth that we need. So they will outsource some of that. But if when it comes in off the truck, it will go into a holding area where they test it for efficacy that has what we're looking for in. And if it doesn't meet that standard, it actually will go back on the truck next time the truck comes back.
Well, now, let's just stop for a moment because I don't know too many supplement companies that take it from the ground to the table. In other words, I don't know many supplement companies that work that way. They get their raw ingredients from an agricultural community which they have no role in. They have no role to play. So I got a feeling that that's one of the... How many companies do this? Is standard process unique in this regard, or are there a few others that do? Because I'm not aware of any.
There might be a couple more out of the market, but you kind of get what you pay for. But food doesn't have to be expensive. Nutrition doesn't always have to be expensive, although the government's trying to make it that way with that new bill that they're trying to pass there, last night or this week or whatever it is, that 510 Act.
That's right, which they did pass in the Senate and now goes off the House. And it looks like the two bills are not going to be the similar ones. There are going to be some add-ons in the House, and then they're going to have to reconcile it. But I know there's a big... But take that bill for a moment, because it's timely. It happened yesterday. How was the company, how did Standard Process view that bill? Was it something that they fought against? If they did, why? If they encouraged it? Because it really seems like you're big enough that you would have met the criteria already for what the standard they're trying to set. That's what I'd look at what happened yesterday. Big agriculture was benefited by it. The little guy was hurt. If I have that wrong, let me know. How did you view the bill? How do you think your company viewed it? And where do we stand now to the best that you can surmise?
I still agree with you that the little guy got hurt in this case.
Got the shaft, didn't he?
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it.
Got the shaft.
But the little guy, which I know, like I said, up here in my Shenango Valley, I know I have a lot of farmers markets, up here, and a lot of little guys farm that have awesome produce. I love juicing all of this stuff in the summertime when it's available. And I think they're totally correct. It's like they got the shaft, if you will, that they will not be able to do their thing anymore. Because we possibly have met the criteria, I'm not certain on how the company stands with this because it's all so fresh and so new. I'm sure we'll get some trickle-down stuff because we do have people in Washington to stay on top of this stuff for us and notify us how as things come up. So I'm not real certain as how they...
Hey, maybe by the next time we speak, you got something called the farm, and everything's coming from that farm and going into your product line. And if you can't grow because of your short growing season, you actually get it from another source for which you do have the ability to reject, and you're checking the product. Does it look how much the trucks? These are good things to know. Is what makes your company cut above most others, because I don't know personally. If anybody does know, I'd be happy to hear what other company may go that far back in the processing of the formulation of a product to take it to the roots and the earth all the way to the table. That is an accomplishment. Standard process. Tell us a bit about the history of your company. Great discoverer of your product line. Gentleman Royal Lee, I believe his name is. Tell us the best you can about the inception, the initiation of this company, built on what concepts, what principles, how it evolves. You say you have your current owner, and the name eluded me, but I'm sure you can mention it as you respond to this company, how it started and how it arrives to the point and the largesse that it comes to today.
You were definitely correct. Dr. Royal Lee started the company back in 1929, and he made actually a product called Catalin, which is our multivitamin, and he thought he made the vitamin or product to end all products. He actually made it for a cousin, if I remember correctly, and then that cousin then started giving it to other people and so forth, and then that just led to where it was. How Lee actually had the money to do all this, he actually had his hands in a bunch of different things. He actually had an engineering company and actually helped develop the Norton bomb sights for World War II. So he had his hands like he was ahead of his time. He even wanted to do, he went to physics class in high school, and so he went to the principal and said, listen, we need to start teaching physics. And they said, okay, but you're going to teach. So he was actually teaching high school physics to his other, students. So he was a phenomenal man.
Was he up at the farm at the time? Is the farm an outgrowth of his roots and where he's from?
Yes, because he picked Palmyra because back in the day, back in 29 and the 30s, he was doing soil samples from all around the country. He found out that in the Palmyra, Wisconsin, the basin up there, that has the most fertile soil and has the most vital minerals and nutrients that they were looking for.
Yes. We don't have any in our soils, by the way. Do you know that? Right. Or we are really depleted here. Seriously so. Things grown in this area may look good, but the mineral content just is not there because it's not in our soils.
Right.
So I didn't know. Wisconsin is sort of like a hotbed of this mineral activity occurring naturally, and the highest content of these minerals is found in that soil. Very good reason to have a farm there and not here.
Right. So he then took it and started, other doctors, practitioners, and so forth at the time were starting to notice what he was doing. Started using their product, or his product, which actually started out as Vitamin Product Company. Started using the stuff way back when, and he's got newsletters actually reading his original work called Vitamins. He was actually printing back in the 30s and so forth, and it was just phenomenal. Some of the stuff he was noticing that were nutritional deficiencies. Because only drugs can cure and prevent disease, so we're not about trying to do that. We're trying to be on the wellness side of things. Point out there might be a nutritional deficiency that might be going on, and if you happen to get better, well, then we found the right people that work for you. And it has since grown up and grown and grown. And then, like I said, Charles Dubois actually bought it. I can't remember what year he bought it, but he's owned it since then. And then we were looking at herbs. We took on MediHerb, which is our other company, which has awesome herbal products. We brought them on in, I think, 2000.
I'm not familiar with the company. Elaborate more. MediHerb is obviously a line of herbs that you just got into, and that's pretty recent, 2000.
Yes, it was only about 10 years ago or so. So about 10 or 12 years. I'm being new to this. I'm not real specific on the year or the date, but I'm pretty sure it was right around 10 years ago. And what was happening is we were starting to incorporate like echinacea, which that's a big one around this time of year, especially with the, I don't know if you guys have snow down there, but we have snow.
We got some snow overnight. Yeah, we actually did.
Yes, we have some as well, but echinacea is something that a lot of people try and take this time of year to be on that wellness side of things, so they don't get colds or fevers or flus or whatever it may be. And MediHerb will actually do research on every echinacea product that's out there from all around the globe, and they will test it for their efficacy. And they will not use, if you will, an inferior product. They will only take echinacea from a good, high-quality source. If it does not meet their quality standards, once again, they will not use it. That's why it was a perfect fit for us. They looked into, what MediHerb stood behind, and MediHerb was what Interproxy stood behind, and it was just a perfect fit.
Good. Hope to get into the herbal line in either this show or one of our future shows. Back to the company standard process, though. 2000 is not too long ago. You've got many years of evolution of this company. It is unique to the extent you're the only company I know that manufactures or produces, a better word, produces something called a protomorphogen. Now, I think it's an interesting concept. I think devised and elaborated by Royal Lee himself. If you could spend a moment on this unique offering to your company alone, that I think really does set you apart from anyone else, because nobody else has this stuff.
That is correct. What we make is, as you touched on, correct, exactly, the protomorphic. What it is nuclear protein of the cell. And what that is, it kind of is like DNA or blueprint, if you will, of the other cells of the body. And you actually use it from, it'll might say bovine liver on there or something like that, because that's where we have to get it from, because the body has something called oral tolerance. We can actually assimilate other mammalian tissue. So the closest things to us up on our farm are cows, pigs, and sheep. So those are the closest things we have to us, most readily available. So that's what we use in our protomorphogen line. And because of that oral tolerance, the body actually keeps these other materials in, and it can actually process it, and it actually does something called an oral antigen. It actually distracts the body, so it lets the gland or specific organ area of the body that we're talking about, possibly repair itself.
Yeah, this is a takeoff on, I think, a well-known concept understood by our listeners. Certainly the term thrown around, autoimmune, it's thrown around sometimes like it's a 5-cent word. That's $1.50 word there. That's a big word. It suggests a process, a not too healthy process. In fact, a disease-provoking process that occurs in humans where literally their immune system attacks the very organ or gland in question and leads to a whole host of symptoms. And to be able to shut that process off, the protomorphogen, as I would now envision it after having explained what it's supposed to do, acts as a way that the immune system, instead of attacking you and your gland, can go ahead and attack this other antigen that you're introducing into the system that will allow your gland to get a break. Did I assimilate that right? Did I explain that right?
Correct. Yes, sir. That is basically correct.
So, as frequent as, especially, let's just take thyroid disease, something called Hashimoto, something called, that's right, Graves' disease. These are conditions where the immune system has wiped out the gland completely, as if it needed to happen in western Pennsylvania, where the gland cannot function very well on its own without any help from your immune system. But you bring that one into it, you completely fry the gland very early in somebody's life. And the protomorphogen gives you an option. I'm guessing that you can assume that in all glands, well, how many different protomorphogens, here you go, how many different protomorphogens do you make? For what organs and glands do you make them?
There's actually 25 or 26 of them, if I remember correctly. And the theory, this is all a theory, because there's scientists can't totally 100% prove this. So
I got you.
Okay, but I've seen it work, if you will, in some of our cases here in our practice, as well as with other doctors that I've now been getting throughout my territory that I cover. The protomorphogens that we make are for bones. We make one for bones. Obviously, we make one for the liver. We make one for the thyroid. There's one for the brain. There's one for the heart. There's one for the skin. Skin, bone.
Well, you got 28 of them. I don't expect you to elaborate the entire list. Let's just say 28 organs. You've got pretty much every body part that I can imagine covered when it comes to protomorphogen. And is it the company's mantra that whenever somebody has a pathology going on that is known, I mean, if somebody could say they're diabetic, or somebody has hypothyroidism, or they're having liver dysfunction, that part of the program that you will elaborate should almost always include, because you don't know for sure if there's an immune or autoimmune component to their disorder. It's probably always a good starter to put that in the program in every case, because if it has an autoimmune component and you don't address it, then you will never get to the crux and the root of this person's problem.
Exactly, because there's even science will even tell you this. This is back from Royal Lee's day as well. They say that any disease left untreated can become an autoimmune disease. So, if you have somebody that comes in that say maybe they just have, they've already been diagnosed by, the other medical community and so forth as having, say, Hep C or something like that, they decide to leave that go untreated, don't decide to, maybe make some dietary adjustments or, do some things proactive on their own and so forth, then yes, there's a possibility, who knows what else that could be, because the body's trying to fight this off the whole entire time.
So, in the way you look at things, it's not as though an autoimmune situation provokes a disease that then needs to be treated. You say if you have a disease, it ultimately can lead to an autoimmune issue, which is the complete reverse of, but nonetheless, what does that open the door for the need for a protomorphogen in every case? If that is anywhere near even 50% accurate of a statement, that is a big statement.
Right, and that's exactly why we protomorphogen. We found this out, like I said, back in the 20s and 30s. And, how he did that back then, and it still holds true to this day, the theory behind it is just phenomenal. And that's one of the reasons why we started carrying it in our office. If you ever talk to Jim next time, I'm sure you guys can get a chuckle out of this, because I still do, is I was carrying not only standard, but some other products, and we were only, using on an as-needed or as-ordered basis. And then once I decided to make the leap, if you will, to doing this full-time, we started attending more of these SP seminars that doctors now come to that I help with and so forth now. And next thing you know, it just took off. And just the theories and using food behind all this just made total sense. And I was like, holy cow, what do I have here at my disposal? And so we started learning more. I just started sucking up as much as I can to educate myself on this, what I was learning in my outside studies, what I was learning here at the standard, and education that doctors not get, which is the same stuff I've learned. And, I now get to spread the word throughout Western Pennsylvania to either patients in your office or a doctor's office, or educate the doctors who can pass along to, or, the practitioners.
I must say, it was patients of mine, that were a number of them, who brought me to the standard process table because they had heard about the standard process story. They certainly knew about protomorphogen. They insisted that we get involved, and we ultimately did at their request, and it's been a great relationship ever since. We certainly love our relationship with Standard Process. Love the fact that we now have Brian filling the shoes of Jimmy that can bring this kind of a message to our listeners and give them opportunity to do what they all intend to get done. Promote their health. If things are not doing well for them, there's a way that they can pick up the battle cry and take care of themselves, maybe with some professional help, maybe even only on their own, but nonetheless, your company does provide some options that no other company does. The two things so far that can make you completely unique is this thing with a farm, or if not your farm, somebody else's farm that you directly control what they put out, literally taking the food source from the dirt and taking it through a processing to get them to the kitchen table, breakfast table nook, is something I don't see done. And the protomorphogen line, absolutely unique to you. Don't find any other company doing that. Let's do this, Brian. Let's take a short break. When we come back, to get into your product line, let's just start out by talking about everybody's looking, and they always ask me for a good multiple, okay? And your multiple is one that I believe certainly meets the test of what a good multiple should be. Give us an idea of your generalized products, and then we can get into specifics, because you do have the specifics for each and every body system and organ that there is. But how about the general side first, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty on specifics after that. Fair enough?
Sounds great.
All right, folks, there you got him today. It's Brian Foltz, as you can see, knowledgeable fellow on the company and the standard process line. We're happy to have him with us today. He's for the remainder of the hour. You may want to call up, and Brian, you don't mind taking questions, do you?
No, sir.
412-825-6262 is the number to do that. That's 412-825-6262. The company, Standard Process, will be back in just a moment.
This Christmas season, give
Give your friends and loved ones the gift of health with a very special gift from Fruit of the Spirit. Fruit of the Spirit combines 14 whole fruits with energizing minerals to give you great tasting, antioxidant-rich liquid nutrition with more health benefits than any other product of its kind. Take advantage of a special offer this Christmas. We will send a beautiful gift pack of a bottle of Fruit of the Spirit, portion glass, book, and brochure to each name on your shopping list for just $29. That's a bottle of Fruit of the Spirit, portion glass, book, and brochure to each name on your shopping list for just $29.
Fruit of the Spirit gift pack is a $57 value. This Christmas season is yours for just $29, shipping and handling not included. Call 1-800-793-8714 with your shopping list, and Fruit of the Spirit will take care of the rest. Call now. That's 1-800-793-8714.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instructions, it just doesn't quite produce the results that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Good morning and welcome back to AM Impact on Your Health here on a Wednesday version of the show, December 1, 2010. Yeah, there's a lot going on in your lives, a lot going on in this show too, because it's a jam-packed and filled December schedule that we have in line for you. We kick it off today with, I think as you're catching on now, is a very appropriate way to kick off an active and action-packed month. We have Brian Foltz with us, represents a company called Standard Process, extremely unique, you getting the hint? In terms of how they formulate their products, where they get the raw ingredients from, all unique to them. This concept of photomorphogen, absolutely only found with this company. We have a discussion that now needs to ensue about those who may be listening, thinking about, okay, sounds like an interesting company to me. How best, Brian, does one who listens to us decide? Everybody that comes into my office always asks me, hey, what kind of supplement should I take? And there's agreement, I think, universally, that a basic daily supplement, a multi, if you would use the right word, I guess, to pin on it, a good multi is everybody's own unique decision. Talk to us about the Standard Process line and the variations of multis that you offer, allowing the listener maybe to figure out what multi they need.
Well, we start off that list with our, like I said, flagship product. It was the first one that we introduced, and that was Catalin. It's the basic thing. It's the catalyst, if you will, for other things.
That's what the derivation of the word, the catalyst.
Right.
Okay, good word. All right.
That turn led to other doctors, if you will, back in the time, back in the 30s, they said, hey, listen, can't you just use, vitamin A or vitamin C or C, whatever vitamins you might be needing for, whatever nutritional deficiency you might be having that is going on. Like B vitamins are great for energy when we consume too much sugar, which, this is the holiday season, sugar season, which we consume a lot of these things this time of year. So sugar eats up B vitamins, stress eats up B vitamins. So you need to supplement with a couple extra B's, which is not a bad idea this time of year. So you will find that B vitamin as ours is cataplex. That is a catalytic complex, hence the name Cataplex. All right, that's how we came up with that.
So you have Catalin and Cataplex.
Right, Cataplex will be like a specific vitamin. So say if somebody walks into your office, talks to you, Dr. Courtney, or even Cam, if you guys find out that, hey, listen, Cataplex B or vitamin B, they come in and say, hey, listen, I went to the local drugstore or whatever it was down off the corner, and hey, listen, I want to get some B vitamins or a B complex, then we recommend Cataplex B. And like I said, it's that catalytic complex. So you're going to find a variety of different things in our B vitamins, because the same thing with catalysts, because you have the smartest pharmacy on the planet. What might work for me doesn't work for you, and that's that pharmacy in your body. And somebody might respond real well to pea vine juice, but some other people might use carrot juice instead. Find a variety of these different things in there. So that's why, like I said, we use food to do that. And you have, like I said, A, B, C, D, E, cataplex F, which is a vitamin F.
So you have a cataplex with that features any one of these. Like you have a B, a cataplex B. You have a cataplex A.
Yes, we do.
And so that heightens the amount of A, the A vitamin line, and keeps at its minimum the B, C's, and all the other lines. And so you say you have an A, B, C, D, E. You have an E?
Yes, sir. We have an E.
You don't have an F.
We do have an F.
You do have an F.
We do have an F.
Tell us about. I'm interested in your F line. Go ahead.
Vitamin F is oxygen.
Vitamin F. Okay, you got to fill me in on vitamin F.
Well, it's unique because a lot of people don't eat enough of the good fat. And anytime I look at vitamin F, whether you buy it through a grocery store or something like that, like there's a local pharmacy or whatever it is, as I look at the fat content of people's diet. Why are they not eating enough of the good fats like avocados and canola oil, which is another everybody should take because you eat a lot of the high processed oils, like corn oil, that kind of stuff. You don't get enough of, like I said, the good fats in our diet. So cataplex F has those good fats in it, as well as a little bit of iodine. And as when I discussed the time I was in your office, we live in what in the natural health world is called the goiter belt, because we have no iodine.
Oh yeah.
In the soil. That's one of the minerals that is actually depleted out of our soil. Unless the farmer's putting it back in, you're probably not getting enough.
All right. Hey, how far do we get through the alphabet before I stump the band here? I mean, we're up to F. You got a G?
Yes, we have G.
Jeez. What's G?
G is the common B vitamin as well, because what we were noticing, or this was formulated back in the 30s as well, is that not everybody kind of needed to be repped up, and not everybody needed that big-time stress reliever being in the B. So we introduced cataplex G, which is actually, the common. Still great for like liver reaction, to get liver to do its job, but it's great for kind of calming people down. I know there's some, I see military people, I'm sure there's all kinds of people that are protecting our freedom, which I just love. I actually see them for free. They just actually pay for product. I give them my time because they're doing us a favor by protecting. And there's a couple guys that I know that take this at bedtime, and they just are out like a light. They have been subjected to it if you overseas or whatever, and it just calms them right down, and they can get a nice rest.
So what's the little acronym handle you laid on this one? Is it GONE?
You could.
What do you call it in the company? I mean, you have for every letter you got something. F is for fats. What do you tag it? The G. I say gone. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
That'll work.
That'll work?
That'll work.
All right. That helps our listener, because now they can associate that letter G with a result that they may be looking for. And so when they pick, and they can pick their own product line in terms of what in your line works best for them, you do have a G. I'm almost afraid to ask. We go beyond G?
We have one more after that.
GTF.
GTF is stands for glucose tolerance factor, which is, as you know yourself, Doctor, who's been diagnosed with diabetes.
That's right.
This is actually basically organic natural chromium. And GTF, like I said, stands for glucose tolerance factor, because what's happening with diabetes? Glucose is out of control. The pancreas is doing its thing. It's either overproducing or underproducing, or there's something going on with the pancreas. This kind of just helps mellow all that out. So a lot of doctors are prescribed chromium propionate, but hey, that might work. But sometimes people have issues where they're on the fact of on the verge, if you will, or have been diagnosed with like glucose intolerance, and this product may actually help with it.
Great. I had never been taken through all of your multi-line as you have just taken me, and it allows myself as well as all our listeners to appreciate what might be code and misunderstood by most now pretty much is all cleared up. If we take the G part, well, we're going to call it go to sleep, okay? And just let that go. Now we have a way of looking at your product line with multis that lets someone become educated and sophisticated in the standard process line. And the mineral side of it all. Now, I'm sure the multis do take generally and do carry minerals. To what extent of minerals are carried, and how do you add to that?
Really, really great for a variety of different things. One is called trace minerals B12, and the other one is called a clinically bound mineral. And trace minerals B12 was taken off and doing so well that you actually put it next to the pack that you have now, which is catalyst. So you get your multivitamin, then you get your tuna oil, because as I touched on, everybody should have those because of our diet, our lactic and omega-3, and then you get your trace minerals in there as well. And that's actually those base minerals that you're looking for, like I said, the soil, whether it be some iodine or magnesium or manganese. You just about name it, it'll just about be in one of those spots.
Very, very good. We got a few minutes left. I don't want to get into some topic we really can't cover, but could you just give us an overview on this newest company, because it really titillated me in terms of the herbal component now. Tell us a bit about that company that you glommed onto and now brought it into your family of standard process, and what kind of items are found. You mentioned echinacea, but there are probably other components to the product line, and because that's going to take us right up to the end of the hour and get us set for our next show, which I want to have a minute or two to discuss before we depart today.
Okay, Medgear is, like I said, another great company. They stand for quality as well. And the great thing to do around this time of year is a product called andrographis, which can help boost the immune system. It's for that you wake up one morning and all of a sudden you blow your nose from what you thought was a good night rest, and you get that really intense, like be a little gross for a minute, yellow stuff, grab your nose, and oh my gosh, am I coming down with something? That's when you want to run to andrographis. It actually has a nice, for just acute conditions. And it can kind of knock a cold or a flu or whatever thing you have you like right now. It works really well with another product from standard called Condiflex, one or the other or both, but it's basically for acute conditions. The other thing that I love using here is something called an herbal throat spray that we have. It's great for, I've actually taken some here as you can see. It's great for people who either do a lot of speech or talk. It's great for the start or onset of a sore throat. But it's an awesome product that I think in our office probably already bottles that goes off the shelf.
Great. As we now approach the end of the show, by the way, anybody have a call that wants to give us a call, 412-825-6262. We'll take it as we get ourselves ready for the next show. We're going to be back with you again, Brian, on the 13th. And, when Jimmy Maresik was roaming around the hills of south and north of Pittsburgh, and now he's in the mountains of North Carolina, but he used to do a thing in the office called cardiac phonography. It was unique to Jimmy. He's the only guy in not just western Pennsylvania, I think anywhere in the western or eastern part of the United States that did it, but it was a way that Jimmy could use to try to allow somebody in an objective way to come up with a treatment plan using supplementation from your company. You have a unique way of doing it too, which is a neat little nifty little exam that you do to figure out what the needs of each particular individual may be. Describe it a little bit, because as we go on out of here, when we come back on the 13th, we're going to be talking about that exam, one that you'll be able to come in my office and actually do on patients, similarly to the way Jimmy did it, where they schedule some time for them to see you, and you can help allow them to make the right decisions about their supplementation. So what is this exam that we're going to be doing and talking about on the 13th?
What it's called is basically called that nutritional exam, because we're trying to look to see if there's any nutritional deficiencies. And what we're going to do is do a series of actually old acupressure points that actually daily used back in the day. And I'm talking back to probably the 50s and 60s, and all this stuff just kind of got swept under the carpet because it just wasn't kind of going anywhere. And the way medicine was going and everything else, they kind of, they kind of lost their way. And all this stuff is really just swept under the carpet, and this stuff that is the basic foundation for a lot of things to cover basic things like digestion. Especially with food journals with people and stuff, you can find out, depending upon where their age is at, you can have the best organic diet in the world, you think you're doing everything right, but if you can't digest the food that you're taking in, then it doesn't make any good. It's one of those things to tackle with them. There's a couple other different checks you can do that are along the way that I described to us more on our talk again on the 13th. But so cover digestion, we're talking sugar handling, whether or not you get enough of good and bad touched on. You can check whether or not the large intestinal tract needs a little bit of nutrition. Maybe you had a history of antibiotic use. You have such a good bacteria back in the digestive tract. With Greek yogurt or something like that, that's great. We can use to help that, but it may not be enough. You need a little bit extra, and we have products that help.
Well, that gets us set. The bongos have started in the background, signaling our time out of here, but that really gets us set for our December 13th show. Just in the short exam you did on me, too, 8 different supplements get brought to the forefront of things that I could use and that could help me. And in a similar way, we'll be able to help others. We'll talk more about it on the 13th. I thank you for coming aboard with us this morning. Pittsburgh, loved meeting you and having an opportunity to learn from you. I think we know quite a bit about your company now we didn't know before. And so I say to you, have a wonderful start of December. Look to see you on the 13th, where we're going to have at it again, all right? Okay, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Standard process, well represented by Brian Foltz. We're going to signal our time out of here now, say goodbye to you. For myself and Brian, look forward to seeing you on Friday. Don't forget, Jim Navarro and Beth Clay are going to be with us today talking about that bill, the Thomas Navarro Rights Act, Medical Rights Act, on Friday. Till then, this is Dr. Dennis Courtney and Brian Foltz saying so long for AM Impact on your health. And we'll hook this again on the 13th and have that with this week. Okay. 942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.